Zhufei was a little nervous at first, but when he heard his sister say this, his heart became even more nervous. Sarah belongs to the top rich second generation of Eastcliff. Although the relationship is not very close, they can be regarded as ordinary friends. Zhufei has been secretly in love with Sarah for many years, but because Sarah never mixes with the second-generation wealthy circle, he does not have much chance to contact Sarah. Moreover, Zhufei didn't dare to confess to her, because he knew that in the eyes of his father Xin, Gu's family was a little uncomfortable. Zhufei is the eldest son of the Su family in his generation, and there is no doubt that he will be the head of the Su family at some time in the future. Therefore, Xin attaches great importance to his marriage. In Xin's view, the Su family is now the number one family in the country, and the second-ranked family, the Wade family, is against them, so Zhufei has no need to find a suitable marriage partner in China. Xin's plan for Zhufei was to either marry the person above him, or simply find a top family from abroad to marry. Therefore, he naturally cannot be willing to let his son be with Sarah of the Gu family. Zhufei never thought of confessing to Sarah before. As the eldest son of the Su family, although he is not as capable as Ziyu, his consciousness is higher than Ziyu. He knew that in his marriage he could not be the master of his own, so he simply gave up the right of his own choice and let his family arrange it for him. However, after being kidnapped by a ninja and almost killed last time in Japan, he suddenly felt that his life was short. He feels that even if life is a good one, it is only a few decades, and maybe at a certain period of time because of an accident and died young. That being the case, why do you need to compromise your marriage? Since he has always liked Sarah, why not have the courage to pursue her? After he had said this plan to Ziyu, Ziyu immediately raised her hands in agreement, and deliberately helped him figure out a way to approach Sarah. Ziyu knew that Sarah would have a series of national tour concerts after the new year, so she suggested to her brother to talk to Sarah about the naming rights of the concert. It happened that Zhufei had a well-known cosmetics company in the country under his own name. Ziyu suggested using this cosmetics brand to discuss naming cooperation with Sarah. Ziyu's original intention was to let Zhufei establish a business relationship with Sarah, so that he could go to her concert to cheer for her as the title dealer. By doing two things like this, starting with public and then private, saving the country with curves, basically, the relationship between the two can be quickly brought closer. If the elder brother has enough ability and charisma, it will be a matter of course. At this time, Zhufei felt a little nervous, and he asked Ziyu in a low voice, "Do you think Sarah can agree to let me endorse her concert?" Ziyu said seriously, "If you do what I said, I don't think the problem is big." Zhufei nodded softly, but still a little unsure, and said in a low voice, "I heard that Sarah seems to have a marriage contract with a younger member of the Wade family. If I really confess to her, can she agree?" Ziyu comforted helplessly, "Oh, brother. Why are you chirping like a lady? Don't think about it so much, you don't want to turn your bow back. Moreover, even if she has a marriage contract, what about it? It was Changying's son who had a marriage contract with her. When the Changying couple was killed in the early years, he had already disappeared. Whether he is still alive is still unknown. How could it be possible for him to come back and marry Sarah?" Speaking of this, Ziyu said again, "You, just play well and perform well. You are the eldest son of the Su family. In terms of financial resources, few people in the country can compare with you. In terms of looks, you look like a talent. And with high education, I think you are more than enough to match Sarah," Zhufei said with emotion. "In fact, there is one more thing, don't know if you are not clear." Ziyu asked, "What's the matter?" Zhufei said, "Dad and Changying were always at odds. In order to fight against Changying's unstoppable energy, Dad also formed an anti-Wade alliance that year. The hatred with Changying can be said to be very deep. Sarah's father was also a good brother of Changying, so I am worried that Sarah's father will have prejudice against the Su family." Ziyu frowned and said, "I know that Dad and Changying didn't deal with him. I heard my uncle talk about it, but Changying and Philip were like brothers, I have never heard of." As he said, Ziyu comforted, "But things have passed for so many years, I think he shouldn't hold such a grudge. Besides, even if he has prejudices, he also has prejudices against Dad, and won't be the same as those of our juniors. Besides, Sarah is his only daughter. If Sarah really likes you, I believe he will respect his daughter's choice. What do you think? Jufei's nervousness eased a bit after hearing her say this, and he nodded and said, "What you said makes sense. I will try it." Ziyu smiled and said, Be more confident. The world doesn't know how many women are lining up to marry you. Some of them have better overall conditions than Sarah. Why do you feel inferior? Jufei chuckled. I said so, but I still feel nervous. Ziyu earnestly said, this is the problem of your mentality, and lack of self-confidence is the key. If I like a man in the future, I will never feel inferior at all. Even if he is the prince of the Middle East, I will not be inferior in front of him. As she spoke, Ziyu laughed and said, the prince is actually nothing great, let alone that I don't like the foreign person. Even if I really put a prince in front of me, I still look at him with my heels. A prince seems to be very powerful. The family assets are hundreds of billions, but in their kind of family, the princes from all quarters add up to say a few hundred. On average, a prince has more than 1 billion in assets, which is not enough. Mam's own pocket money. Jufei looked at Ziyu, chuckled lightly, and said seriously, hey, sometimes I really wish I could have your personality, and I don't care about anything, so I will naturally live very generously. Ziyu asked him back, are you complimenting me or hurting me? Praise you. Jufei said earnestly, because I am the eldest son and grandson, I have been restrained by grandfather and dad since I was a child. The edges and corners of my personality have long been in front of them. It's smoothed out, and there is no sense of resistance at all. Unlike you, no matter who you can fight twice. Ziyu said, we are in different situations after all. It is you, not me, who will inherit the family in the future, so I can live a little heartless. Jufei nodded and asked her, by the way, aren't you looking for Blessed Man? How about it? Ziyu sighed. I just got the surveillance video of several major airports in Japan, and looking at them one by one. It is estimated that I will find him by my 30th birthday. I am still thinking of a reliable solution. After that, Ziyu hurriedly said, by the way, I will start watching the surveillance videos at home today. After you go back, you must help me sort it out.